Hi everyone, welcome back for another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to talk about video inside Photoshop CS6. Well, there are lots of new features in CS6 and video is one of them, but we can go so further that you couldn't even imagine. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a photo and I'm going to grab another one like so. And let me see, I like this one as well, so, and this one right here. Well, thing is, as soon as you get the image into Photoshop, converts to smart object, but I want to rasterize these two layers for time being. So okay, then we have three photos right here. I'm going to unlock this layer as well, the background layer. So now we have three different photos. So let's create a slideshow. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to window, and in CS6 doesn't come up as animation panel, it comes up as timeline. So we open up timeline, and as you can see right here, create video timeline. So we just click, there we go. So for the purpose of the video, I'm going to change the frame rate. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to set timeline frame rate, and I'm going to change it to 15 frames per second, just for the purpose of the tutorial. So now what we want, okay then, so we want to show this one, this photo, this one, and this one, kind of slideshow sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going first select this second layer. I'm going to rename the layer 2, layer 3, and layer 1, so you understand exactly where I'm coming from. So I'm going to select layer 2 and layer 3, and I'm just going to move right here on the timeline to right here. And while I'm doing this, it's already expanding the time of the film. So now I'm going to select layer 3, and I'm going to, like so, and just expand straight away. Before you'd have to go and change the properties of the film. So there you go. So now we have a film, but the transitions are terrible. So new feature in CS6, it's right here, this panel here, so we can drag and drop some fading of the film. So I'm going to fade with black, just drag and drop, and fade with black right there. So as you can see, now fades in the black and fades in the black. Very cool indeed. But let's say I'm going to undo. But let's say you want to do something else. Let's say you want to move the layer. So I'm going to zoom out just so we can see. So right here we have like a triangle, like an arrow pointing to the right. If we click it, we have position, opacity, and style. So those things are things we can animate in Photoshop as well. So if you, instead of having those default transitions, why not create your own? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select layer 2. I've got the move tool selected, and I'm going to hold shift, and I'm just going to move it to the side like so. So we click right here in position, and we right here we click again on the position. So we created a position. So now we want to bring it in. So we just come here slightly further, and as you can see, I've got show transform controls ticked in, so I can see where the image is. And I'm going to hold shift, and I'm just going to drag it into position. So now what we've got, this. how cool is that? But doesn't look very cool. So what can we do? We can actually come to layer 1, and where exactly on this keyframe we can start lowering the opacity of this one. Don't know why, but I can. So I'll just put opacity like so, and now I'm going to bring it to the other keyframe where this image gets in position, and I'm going to come here and lower the opacity to 0. So let's see how it looks now. Doesn't look very good, but we can get a black layer underneath, so that's better. So as you can see, there's a lot more you can do. So what do you reckon? Not bad, not bad. And we can do a lot more with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of these layers because I want to show you something. So this one, and I'm going to leave this one here because I like this one. So I can right click and delete the keyframe, right click, delete keyframe, and delete the other one as well, and I'm going just to bring into position again. So let's say I want to create a text saying Miguel presents something. So I'm going into my text and I'm going to Miguel presents. Okay, it's too small, so let's make it bigger. And well, I'm happy with this. So I'm going to select all, and now I'm going to align to the middle. So right here on the top I can align to the middle. So it's and Control D to deselect, Command D on the Mac, or you can come here into the select and deselect. So there we go. So I'm going to bring the timeline back to beginning, so something like so, and I'm going to bring the text as well. So I want to bring it like here. So let's say we want to animate the text. So now this is really cool. So I'm going to hide the other one, and I'm going to just concentrate on the text. So first thing I want to do is obviously I want to fade in. So I can fade in clicking on the opacity and add a keyframe, lower my opacity to 0, and then right here I want to bring back the opacity. There you go. So now we have Miguel presents. But now we want to add this, let's say, a layer style. So if we want to add a layer style, we can come here into layer styles, and I'm going to add bevel emboss. I'll click OK, and I'm going to add a keyframe. So now I'm going to move it forward, so just you see what I'm doing. So I just moved it here on timeline, and I'm going to double click again. I'm going into the layer styles panel. So let's say I want to a color overlay now. I don't like red, so I'm going something like so, and I'll click OK. And once we say OK, it adds straight away a new keyframe. So as you can see, so fades in to 100% opacity, and then just changes color like so. But let's say we want to add something else. Double click again, and let's say we want to add a drop shadow like so, and we want to add I don't know, outer glow. Yeah, why not? And I'm going to something more obvious so you can see a bit better. Yeah, this is okay. Bring up the opacity and spread just a touch, and just added a new keyframe. Now we can bring it forward, go back into the auto glow, and let's say we want to spread the size, something like so, and look at this. So now bear in mind one thing, this can be done also in Photoshop CS5, so it's not CS6 only. The reason why I decided to do this tutorial is to show you that video inside Photoshop you can do lots and lots of things, and from scratch you can do amazing animations. Bear in mind one thing, my intro, the intro for all the video tutorials was done in Photoshop. So as you can see, we can come here and just changing, and now we can, let's say we want to stop here, we just come here to the bottom and just to snap right here, so bang, gone. But there's a lot more to it. So let's say I want to expand this then, like so, and let's say I want to add a layer mask. As soon as I click add layer mask, something else came up right here, so it's layer mask position and enable. So yes, you can also add layer masks to it. So just for the fun of it, I'm just going to grab a selection tool, just going to marquee something like so. I'm going to fill it black because, as you can see, I'm right here on the layer mask, and I'm going to feather something like so. Yeah. So now let's say we want to, from here, animate the layer mask. So we click right here on little clock, so it will add a keyframe to the layer mask, and now we just unlink, make sure you unlink the layer mask from the text, grab the move tool, and let's say we want to move it all the way to the end of the text, so it's right here where my mouse is. Oh, but I forgot to do something, so I'm going to undo. I need to move frames right here. I'm going to like so, and now I'll move the layer mask, so I'll move it right here, and let's say I want to move it back where it was before, so I'll just move the cursor right here on the timeline, and now I'll just move it again to the side, and as you can see, when I'm hovering over, it's kind of disappearing, but I think it might look cool. But the important thing is for you to see the possibilities of this. So I'm just going to like so, so you can see I'm going back to the beginning. I'll click play, and as you can see, 100% opacity, layer style, another layer style, and now you'll see the and it's rendering, but as you can see, look at that, the layer mask. How cool is that? But there's more to it, there is lots more. So let's say we want to convert this to a smart object. So I'm going to convert to a smart object. So everything I've done is still here. Everything is still here as a smart object. But let's say I want to do something else. Let's say I want to warp it. So I'm going into Edit, Transform, and Warp. And I'll warp like so. And I'll go like so. And oops, accept the changes. And so it's coming in, coming in, exactly the same thing, and even the layer mask, it's doing its job as it was before. But let's say we want warp it in from here, we want to do it something different and warp it again. So transform, warp, and we want now like so. Something like this. Click OK, and as you can see, it's still, everything's still here, but the problem is, as it is, just goes, you can't animate it as I've done right here. So let's say we come here and like so, and we click transform, like so, and now like I'll stop here, edit, transform, warp, and as you can see, even when you do transform, as you can see, it's still, because it's a smart object, it's still as I left it before. You see all the handles still as I left them before. So if I wanted to go back to normal, I would just go and bring back everything as it was before. But you see the possibilities. You see the possibilities. However, you can do something, which is Control T, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to hold Shift and Alt, Shift and Option on a Mac, and I'll just click like so. Once I accept the changes, a new keyframe was added to the timeline. So let's see how it looks. So it's now fading in and getting bigger, and then if you want to go all the way to the end, and then you want to make it smaller, just Control T, Command T on the Mac to transform it. I'm going to be holding Shift to maintain the right proportions, and Alt so I can resize it from the middle. So I'll just go like so. I'll click OK, and I'm going to zoom so you can see what's happening, and look at this now. So I'm going to click play. Bear in mind it's still rendering, but as you can see, pretty cool. Still rendering, that's why it's a bit like this. But I'll render this video and I'll export it, and then I'll put at the end of the tutorial, I'll put it there so you can see what I've done. So I'm going to click stop, and if you want to save it, you click onto File, Export, Render Video, and obviously then you can change your settings. I'm going to show you actually. So any second now. And nearly there, and it will show many different options that you can export the video. Then obviously just play with this, all these settings, all these things I've done, and as you can see, you can be creative and play with it. It's taking a bit longer than I expected. Come on. Okay, nearly there. And as you can see, we can select the folder where we want, and different types of formats: QuickTime, DPX, H.264, document size, frame rate, etc. Next video I'm going to do animation in 3D to show you the possibilities of 3D and animation. Until then, just play with it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.